Welcome back to the Fire You Carry podcast. Kevin and I, we took a break last week. We were ill, but we are back. We do a little small talk at the beginning of this episode, catch up a little bit since we haven't spoken to each other since we last spoke with you, actually, on this podcast. And then we launch into a discussion on the types of things that get shared at memorials or celebrations of life. And the question arises if that's something that we should be doing strictly when people have passed away. I think it's a pretty interesting discussion. It's something I've been thinking about recently based on some current events. But we thank you for sticking around and being here. We apologize we missed last week. Thank you for listening. Enjoy.
Did you watch the hockey game this morning?
I was really hoping that you would bring that up because, in fact, I did.
That was incredible. I've never felt, there's something I've never felt like so like patriotic and fired up this morning. That kid, Jack Hughes, is missing teeth. His face is all jacked up.
Yeah, he caught a stick in the mouth.
Got a stick in the mouth. And then the interview after that, you got to go watch that interview
I
with this
watched
kid.
it.
It was just the most, it's just talking about American grit, tenacity, and pride for being an American. Like, it was just like we were cheering at whatever time in the morning it was. Like, you're supposed to be checking out the rigs and doing all that stuff. No, everybody was in the chairs, like cheering, like going ballistic. It was a great moment, dude. It was an amazing day.
Yeah, that was super fun. I mean, you know me, I'm not a sports guy. I don't follow sports. Hockey, ice hockey, is the only sport that I've kind of played. Like, as we talked about as a youth, I played pickup games with the staff at Hume Lake. So we didn't even have like established teams. It was just like you random 5 dudes against you random 5 guys.
Yeah.
But I like hockey. It's, it's violent and it's, it's an icy cold sport. So if any sport I were to care about, it would be hockey, but I still don't follow it.
Right.
But the local news was on at the station. And I'm not watching it, but I catch in the background that they're at some local bar and they're talking about the gold medal hockey game is on right now. And I'm like, wait a minute, what?
Turn that on.
So obviously then that goes on the TV. The guys are like, oh, we got to switch over. So I actually didn't get to watch the full game. I caught I kind of caught the last half and then obviously the overtime.
Oh, that's all you needed to see, but it was like super exciting. And the girls and I, we watched the women's hockey, which won in overtime as well. And that was amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it both play Canada.
Yes. Who it's their like national pastime or something. So
it's bigger than anything there. And then just to know that, it's kind of stuck into Canada a little bit was amazing.
Yeah, that feels good. I mean, you got to put them in their place every once in a while. But the thing that blew me away, obviously, the aftermath when he makes that goal, I'm going to admit I got a little emotional. Like I got a little,
I did too,
misty eyed. Just like this is the most amazing thing because of course they're talking about it, that it hadn't been since 1980, right?
Yeah,
and of course I'm aware of that because of the movie Miracle, which is an amazing film, and obviously I wasn't around to watch that happen. But just the fact that it had been so long since the men's hockey team had won gold just makes it that much more fun. And then that it was the Canadians who were kind of secretly our rivals / friends and allies. And then, dude, Hughes, the speech he gave right after, like you said, it was just so he said all the right things. He talked about his teammates and all the past hockey players that he had looked up to. And then he talked about how proud he was to be an American. And it was just beautiful. It was beautiful.
And not once did he mention his missing teeth.
No, he didn't even talk about it.
Didn't even talk about it. It wasn't
Which
even
is a true hockey player, right?
It's just a true hockey player. He's missing 2 teeth. Could care less. We won the gold.
Yeah, that was super cool. It was a great way to start the day.
Yeah. There's something special about sports and especially I think like the Olympics, where that's a unifying thing. I can only imagine how many hundreds of thousands, if not millions of TVs were watching that this morning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that like, hey, these guys all play for different professional teams, and then just that's like this unifying thing in a world of chaos and destruction. I just love it.
Yeah. It was super cool. And I'm sure in the bigger house, it was even more fun. But even here at the little three-man house, like, it was cool because all the guys are there.
Oh, it
The
was bro
captain's hung
hugs
out for
all
a little
around, and
bit,
we
and
were screaming,
everybody
and
was like, "Yeah, we did it."
yeah,
It's pretty fun.
there were some probationary boots that came over to practice for their follow up,
Oh yeah.
and they came in like during the overtime, and it was pretty funny because the guys are like, "Hey, put that crap down. Like you're not supposed to watch the TV. They're like, this is a moment of history. You know what I
It's
mean?
history. You can't miss this. Yeah.
And these kids were so wildly uncomfortable because they were A, in a like out of station, B,
Right.
on probation trying to practice their follow up, and then C, they had no idea what we were, doing.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny.
Did they watch? Did they obey and watch?
No, not even
Oh
close.
God, they're gonna be sad about that story.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
they did the right
No,
thing, I guess, but not really. I mean, you missed it.
no. All the guys couldn't care less. They're like, hey, just watch this. But yeah, everything paused, dude. It was a great moment. I'm glad we were able to partake in that.
Yeah. I mean, of course, I thought of you immediately because I'm the sports guy,
Sports.
so I immediately thought, I can't wait to talk to Kevin about this.
Yeah, that was fantastic. And yeah, just super fun, man. I was very cool way to close out those Olympics. And it seems like everybody in the station became curling experts over the last month.
Yeah, that's a big thing right now.
You know what I mean?
Here,
Like
here too.
where the Canadians touched it after the hog line, which it's a no-no. You can't do that.
We can't do that. Everyone knows that.
Everyone knows that. So to get back those cheating Canadians and to win the gold in a hockey in their own sport after they cheated passing the hog line,
You
can't
want to
get
you want
better.
to know something? You want to know something interesting? This is really off the wall. So I think because there's a worldwide interest in curling every time the Winter Olympics comes around. It's like clockwork because it's very fascinating. It's very confusing.
Nobody
But
knows.
I got a video recommended to me in my YouTube feed about the curling stones. And it was some channel called
Mm,
So Expensive. And it was like, why are curling stones so expensive? So, of course, I'm curious. So I click on the video,
no.
watch the video. It is incredibly fascinating. I'm not going to give it away, but I will say that the granite that they make the
Mm,
stones out of comes from one specific island that sits off the coast of all places, Scotland, of course, because they have
of
the best
course.
stones. But it comes from this one island. You just got to watch it. It's fascinating.
And is this always a thing, or is this just a more recent phenomenon?
Apparently, there was one Olympics that they didn't use this stone for the stones, and I don't know if I learned why. But it's
That
like
one was trash, yeah.
that's it. Yeah, the stones shattered that year because they weren't from this
Uh,
Scottish island.
well, we appreciate you guys staying with us. We've been deathly ill, dude. The illness has been coming around. I feel like you and I have been sick for a month, and I don't know
I
why.
have been sick for a month.
We're relatively healthy human beings, but that
Yeah,
one put me down, dude. And so we apologize for you guys not having an episode out.
yeah. Last week there was really no. If we had physically managed to get on and record, it would have been us just kind of looking at each other, going, "Hey,
Yeah, no, not happening.
hey."
But there's been no workouts, no sauna. Today was the first day that I kind of felt okay. And I went out, I did a light workout, we did a sauna afterwards. It felt good. It felt good to take like a nice cold shower and finally get like some pizzazz back in your life. You've just been that. I hate that. It's almost like a depressive state when you're sick. You know what I mean? I hate that.
Yeah, it is depressing. You can't work out. You can't eat right. Like it's just your brain's not working correctly. You can just feel it because you're not getting the nutrients or whatever. Yeah, it's
No.
it's rough.
What else has been going on?
I've been working a ton. That's really honestly that's it in my life. I'm currently working two shifts. So I'm working my shift and then the B shift is open. So I'm eating up all of those overtime days. So I've just been at the station. So there's
That's like
not
it's
a
the
lot going
blessing
on.
and the curse, right? It's
Yeah.
like it's a blessing because you can help take care of things for your family financially, and then you can, while you get it, those are the better times to get. But at the same time, it's just a monotonous operation. I'm here on my third day, and I'm like, I'm ready to do something different with my life.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. I'm here. This is day 4 right now. The Walmart guy delivered something to me a little while ago.
Oh,
And I always feel bad having the Walmart guy deliver stuff to me at the station because often it's something silly like a bag of salt or who knows what. But I kind of apologized to the guy. I was like, "Hey man, sorry to make you drive out here, but I'm kind of trapped here, because
yeah.
literally it's like I can't leave and I need this. Thanks for driving all the way out here just for that." But I don't think he got it. I don't think he understood what I was saying, which is fine.
No.
He gets paid. I leave him a nice tip.
So
But it
our
is a
friend,
weird thing feeling trapped.
it is, and you're not able to do the things that you technically want to do or go where you need to go.
Right.
So you're just kind of trapped. But I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's great.
Program guy and friend at our station, JP Hilsebeck and Josh Nessa, program guy, and two of the biggest savages. We did the 4x4x48 together.
Yeah.
They just recently competed in the Hyrox Pro Division in
They did?
Vegas. Yeah, and it was really interesting to watch because your friend and neighbor Hunter the Sheriff was there.
Ah, Hunter.
And Josh and JP are pretty special human beings. They're in their 40s, and they have full-time jobs and everything else, but they compete. I think they get it in about an hour, which is seems pretty amazing for the amount of weight that's being pushed around and all that. And I think I saw that Hunter the Sheriff did it in like 48 minutes, which is with his partner, which is absolutely absurd.
Wow.
But I think that's what he does for a living is Hyrox and workout.
Yeah, totally. Totally. That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's wild. So I don't know anything about this. Is that like televised? Did you get to watch it on TV?
No, but we had
an internet stream.
Some friends that were there taking pictures and giving us updates while we were doing it. And it's it was very cool to see those guys get down. And they just did normal workouts, I think, leading up to it. It wasn't anything like
they weren't specialized their training or anything.
No, and so I thought it was pretty impressive. So hats off to JP and Nessa once again for competing in the Hyrox and killing it.
That's strong. The Hyrox is different than, if I'm correct, than like CrossFit stuff. You know the events beforehand, right?
Yeah, it's a known standardized supposedly event, but a heck of a lot more running and less like technical things like there's no. So it's a 0.6 mile run, so over a half mile, and then there's a vent like 150 wall balls, and then it's a 0.6 mile run, and then it's a huge heavy farmer carry, and then a 0.6 mile run. So I have no idea the distance, but I think it's close to 6 or 7 miles. You end up running in this thing. Yeah, I think maybe it's less than that, but it's a lot.
Well, I don't like it.
No, the running is substantial, which is why I think the Hunter the Sheriff is probably crushes it.
Yeah, that dude can run.
A world-class runner.
Yeah. Interesting.
Which I'm gonna just say that if you have that guy in your backyard and he wants to run a hill with you, I think you got to take him up on it.
I need to hit him up again. I do.
And he'll lap you on this hill, but what a cool opportunity.
Yeah, I should probably take him up on that.
Yeah.
I'm afraid. I mean, it makes me scared, but
I would be too.
You're right. I should do. I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna write a note.
Just no pressure. Just go run with the best runner in the mountains. No problem.
Yeah, it's fine. He's probably not running the mountains right now. We got snow.
Oh, how's that going?
I don't know. I'm not there. Now is a good storm. We got about 6 inches, which is like the perfect amount for Indy to sled without actually having to do any shoveling really to speak of. So it was good.
I love it.
Yeah. It was looking like we weren't going to get any weather this winter, but finally came through.
That's great. I know half the country, it's like 76 degrees here right now. So it doesn't seem like winter.
Yeah. Well, it's already over. It's warming up. So that was our one. It's our one winter storm.
What have you been trying to, what's your theory on working out while sick?
Interesting question. So it depends on how sick I am, but if I've got like just like a cold or something mild, I will usually still try to work out, which is against medical advice or really anyone's advice. And I don't know if that makes any difference when it's something mild, but with what I've had going on this month, I haven't been able to. I've had one workout this entire month, and I was on a
Yikes.
good day. I was having a good day and did the workout, and then shortly afterward felt awful again. So this actually is going to be the first month that I miss my MEPS goal in 4 years.
What?
Yeah, there's just no way I could do it. I just can't physically exercise.
Mm.
So I would say that it's probably not a good idea because your body is working on fighting whatever it's fighting and it needs the energy that you're going to expend working out. But I don't know. I also kind of feel like there's something to be said for just manning up and burning it out if
Yeah.
it's something mild. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what the right thing is. I know I couldn't. It was more of a severe sickness that I couldn't do anything. But I did notice today it felt good to just get some blood flow in, get out in the sun, you know what I mean, do the things. But there's all these people and they're like, oh, saunas burn it out. But I'm like, I don't know. I just seem like just rest. Rest was the only thing I could really do.
Yeah, one thing I don't do when I'm sick is ice baths.
No,
So while that's a normal
no,
part of my routine, I just feel like that's too much additional system stress.
no. Yeah, that's not going to work for you.
And I'm not a sauna guy, so but I would honestly feel the same way about the sauna. I feel like that would be too taxing on the system if you're ill.
No doubt.
Plus, I
No
think I
doubt.
might die. I feel like I'm going to die when I'm healthy in the sauna.
Today was rough. Today was the first day back, and it was a rough one for sure.
That's always the fun thing when you come back from being sick and you start training again, how weak you are. Just like,
Wow, it's like you've never done anything before in your life.
yeah, I used to be fit. I lost it so fast.
You know.
Yep.
Well, this is pretty much all we got today. We've talked about the weather and working out sick. What else? You got anything else?
Oh man. Dude, I've had the most boring month. I've been here at work. We
Yeah.
haven't had any rad exciting calls. We don't really talk about that kind of stuff here anyway. I'm definitely not going to talk about like hose testing and division inspection prep. That's the most terrible topics in the world. So,
No,
yeah, dude.
we did have a pretty interesting call the other day. We had a structure fire that came out in a commercial building in a busy area in Huntington Park. And when we got there, the cop said this dude ran out with a gun
Oh.
and he had two other guys inside that also had guns.
Oh.
And then, so there are guys on the roof. We're going to the roof. There are lines going inside, and it's a two-story, multiple different offices, what have you. So guys are in there fighting fire. And then there's just like the everyone out, pull out, everybody out. And we're like,
Wow.
what? So dudes coming off the roof, and it was a very bizarre situation. It was on the news, but it was just to watch like a fire continue to roll while we were there. And then they got tactical, dude. They got their tactical SWAT team out, and we had to just hit it from the yard to keep the thing in check so it wouldn't spread to other businesses or whatnot. And then had to like shelter behind the rigs until they cleared the rooms. But supposedly those guys ran out, they cleared it, there was nobody else in there, and then we put the fire out. So it was a lot of nothing. But that was an interesting situation.
That is interesting. So the little SWAT guys went inside while the fire was still burning around there?
Well, they tried, but they didn't have BAs on. So there was a lot of coughing and what have you, and then they came back out, and then we hit it hard from the yard for a while to like knock it down,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
they went
yeah.
back in. Yeah,
Dude, that's funny. That's interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a weird dynamic. Anytime you have a threat of violence and then there's something that needs to be mitigated, it's just like you can't send guys in to fight a fire if there's risk of dudes getting shot, which means the building might have to burn down. But
might have to burn down.
yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. but that's pretty much the only thing of excitement of the week.
That's not bad.
My daughter is turning 13 years old, and something
Oh,
about the teen 13. I know, I mean, you have much older kids now, but yeah, it's wild. It's very nostalgic, like, or reminiscing about like, hey, how quickly this went.
yeah.
And you journal, and I like to do this daily journal, this quick 5 minute journal thing. And supposedly they say that that helps slow the time down because you're like documenting things. Have you read that before?
Yeah, my wife has actually been telling me that I need to pick it back up because I
Mm,
haven't been doing it, and it's supposed to be really good for that and really good for your brain health too, and memories, for
mm.
retaining memories. I haven't been doing it for quite a while.
But it doesn't seem to me that it's slowing time down at all.
It's not working. Yeah.
No, no, because it's like, like we're going back into photos and my wife's showing me pictures of her 1, 2, and 3 year birthday, and
Yeah.
I'm like, that just seems like yesterday, it just seemed like boom. So yeah, it's kind of a weird time. I've been like, it just seems like time is fleeting. And even though like, I'm trying to maximize the time with them as much as possible, the reality is that we're gone quite a bit and like, there's missing time. So I don't like this feeling. I don't like the feeling of that. I'm missing the time, but there's not really much anything I can do about it.
Yeah. Yeah. There really isn't. The dude, going back and looking at old photos of the kids is an interesting thing for me because you get those, regardless of what photo platform or phone you have, you get those memory things
Yeah.
that'll pop up, and this day 10 years ago or yet last year or whatever will pop up. And I don't look at those, but my wife will periodically want to show me what she's looking at, and it's the kids being little or Indy being a baby or whatever. I have a hard time. I can't look at that stuff for very long. I feel like
Mm.
I don't know that it's necessarily like nostalgia, but that nostalgic feeling
Yeah.
where it's happy, but it's also sad at the same time.
Yes.
You know
Yeah.
exactly what I'm talking about. Everybody knows the feeling. But I feel like sometimes for me, it's a little too intense. I think there's a little bit
Mm.
too much. I don't know. I don't want to get super deep right here, but it's a little too much kind of regret for the time that
Mm.
is past, and maybe opportunities that I feel like were missed, or I don't know. It's very difficult though, and I will try my best to. And I like looking at the pictures, right? I like reliving the memories and seeing the kids little, but there's a certain point where it starts to feel like too much, and I don't know if that's me just trying to run away from my feelings because I don't like feeling my feelings, or
No, that's
what.
something interesting there.
But
That is something interesting because I feel almost like it's like, oh, I wish we were back in that time. That was an
yeah,
easy,
there's that
yeah, that
too.
was an easy
Yeah.
time.
Yes.
That was super fun. We just went and got froyos and just
Right.
collected sticks. You know what I mean? Like, but shouldn't wish for that back in that time. But it was just like, I feel like, oh, we didn't get enough of that time.
Yeah. There's definitely an aspect of that too, and that's always interesting because when you look back at the past, you do feel like, or at least I do, exactly what you just said. Like that was an easier
Mm,
time, a simpler time, maybe even a happier time in some
mm,
contexts. And I wonder how much of that is actually true and how much of that is just simply the fact that the minor difficulties of life that you were experiencing during that, they don't stick with you. You don't remember
right.
that
You
stuff.
only remember
Whereas,
the good.
yeah, the good stuff. And then the minor difficulties that you're experiencing now, you're very aware of those because it's currently happening. So I wonder how much of that is just being idealistic, and if there's any truth to it, like when your kids are younger, the challenges are different and the connections are different, so there probably is an aspect of that too.
That's interesting. I was talking to my buddy's dad, who's a great man, and he's in his 70s, and he was talking about, I was like, hey, do you remember the kids fighting at all, or like not getting along, or there were some significant challenges during these teenage years when they were starting to, have hormonal changes and whatnot? And he had like thought about it, and he's like, no, not really. I mean, I don't really remember that stuff. I only remember kind of like the good stuff, and it's just, and so I think your point is like pretty valid. Like, it might seem chaotic or super intense or whatever we're dealing with right now, but I do have a feeling that we're gonna just start thinking of the good times, you know?
Yeah, that brings something to mind. We won't talk any specifics, but you'll know what I'm talking about. But I was recently at a a celebration of life, and
Mm,
so the remembrances were being shared by family members. And as Heather and I drove home from that, we were talking obviously about that and just about different things. And Heather asked the question, "What do you think North and Avery, our two oldest, would say about each other? You know, like if they were put in that situation." And it's obviously like a tough, horrible question, but it was interesting. And then we got onto the topic of, we have all been to funerals and celebrations of life or memorials, whatever you want to call them. And that happens in most of those scenarios where you talk about the person who's no longer there. And it's obviously part of the healing process for those that are there processing through the loss. But it's interesting to me that we don't have, as a society or just as people, a mechanism for doing that for the people while they're around, you know?
mm,
Like really awesome things get said about the person, and it's not for them anymore, because they've passed on. And then we started talking about like logistically, how could you do that? And would it even be effective? Like, could you do it especially when your kids are children, like, could you make it a tradition this was my wife's idea, at a kid's birthday,
yeah,
that you would
that's
take a
what I
moment.
immediately thought of. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Because it's an annual holiday, and you could take a moment to speak, not necessarily the type of things that you would say at their funeral, their memorial, but kind of that type of stuff. Right. And I thought that was really interesting. And I mean, obviously we haven't implemented that because that happened last week or 2 weeks ago, but it was an interesting thought because one of the, well, you've lost people that are close to you, before what we would perceive as their time. And there's always some regrets there, right? Of
Yeah.
like, man, I wish I had said this, or I wish I had spent more time there. And I don't know. It was just a moment of reflection of thinking, do we need to spend more time and be more intentional about that type of thing? Not from a morbid sense of just going like, oh, you might die tomorrow, although of course that is true, right? but
Yeah.
but maybe more from the sense of, can this person, family member, friend, loved one, whatever, benefit from that? Could I,
Yes, and yes. And the funny thing, one of the biggest knocks of people close to me is that I don't take that well. If somebody says, "Hey, I
Oh
really,"
yeah.
and I don't know if that's, your military background and our first responder currently. It's like it's always just like, "Oh no, that's just what we do," you know what I mean, or whatever. And then I've had a couple people like literally grab me on the shoulders and said, "Hey, you don't, you're not listening. You don't take this well. Yeah, I want you to like just not respond and just take this in. You know what I mean? I appreciate what you're doing, and I want you to keep doing it, and I'm really proud of you, or whatever it may be." And we just don't take that well. Like I think I'm part of probably the problem too. It's like I don't
Hmm.
take that really well, but I do think that I do watch my kids, and I try to say to them often how proud I am of them. But I think that is it has to be. And I think you're really right. Like it might be so. That's the time. I remember when we were young, the older people used to like at your birthday party, everybody would get
Hmm.
up one by one. And recently, I thought was really special is at Josh Nessa instituted this thing when a guy would promote at the table. There's 10 guys at the table, and you would give them either the shield or a brand new captain's helmet or whatever it is. Everybody got a turn to talk about that guy.
Oh wow.
And it was really, really special. I've been a part of it for like 3 times where everyone kind of talked about the impact that they had, um, you know, whatever it may be. And it was really special because usually the wife was there or somebody was
Oh
there, you know what I
yeah.
mean, and got to
Yeah.
see. And sometimes there was funny jokes and something like or a story or whatever it may be. But yeah, normally that would be reserved to either like a retirement or a death, right? And like
Right.
it was cool to watch during the moment, like, hey, we're saying the things that should be said now.
Yeah. Man, that's really interesting. Got to start implementing that. that we got. I think for me, part of the reason why, I mean, I'm exactly the same as you, right? When people say positive things, I just immediately try to
Uh,
distance myself from it and try to deflect, and it's very uncomfortable. But I wonder how much of that is simply the fact that it's just not something that we do. And so
no.
the ability to gracefully accept and process through that type of emotion, it's just not there. Because it is really, I mean, that sounds really cool until you're the guy who's getting promoted, right? And then it
Yeah,
sounds like
yeah,
a
yeah,
nightmare, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's the
Just
three
watch them squirm.
you turn into the 3-year-old kid at the birthday party who hates the fact that everybody's singing to him and you're weeping. You're just like, I don't want
Right.
the attention. But maybe there's an aspect of that that's good. And maybe it's okay that it's hard, but it's something we need to go through. Man, leave
I
it to
think the
Nessa to
more,
already be doing something that I'm
yeah,
just barely scratching the surface to think about.
no,
He's already
no.
on top of it.
But I think the more in relationships in general, including like with my wife, the less we can be like transactional. Like, hey, did you get the sodas? Did you go to Costco? Did you pick up the mail? Like,
Right.
and more like, hey, this, like, because you'll hear, I'll tell somebody else's story about my wife that's really special, and I won't tell her.
Hmm.
You know,
Right.
you're wait, I should have told her that,
Hmm.
how impactful that was or what she means. You know what I mean? But I'll tell some other random person, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And it tends to be like we fall into those habits. It's just a habit, conversational habits of like, oh, did you do this? Did we do that? Do we need to fix that? Do we need, you know what I mean? And so I don't know. That's something interesting to think about is how to be less transactional conversationally and then more like, breathing life into the kids and breathing life into your wife and being appreciative of what they do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I really like this. So if you're listening to this, especially if you're on YouTube, go down in the comments and tell us if this is something that you have either seen implemented in your life or that your family does or maybe did in the past, or if you've got any ideas on solid ways to implement this type of affirmational feedback and kind of on some sort of an annual basis. I mean, Kevin's idea of the birthday party, and it sounds like you actually had examples of that happening in your youth where adults
Yeah.
did it. And I
Yeah.
don't feel
Adults.
like I remember ever seeing that, but I
Yeah.
think it's a
It's
great
only on one
idea.
side of the family, but I think it's fantastic. This
Yeah.
is everybody stand up and say a few words. And like, what better time to do it, right?
Yeah. One thing similar to that, it's similar but different that did happen in my life was when I turned 13, my parents solicited letters from grandmas, grandpas, aunts and uncles, friends,
Mm.
and asked them to write a letter of advice. Um,
Oh, I remember you telling me about this. Yeah.
yeah. So I have these 3 binders full of letters, and a lot of those people have since passed on, my grandparents and stuff. And it's been quite a while since I've gone back and read them, but there have been multiple times in my life where I went back and read those, and they were super meaningful and they're
Mm.
funny. A lot of them have funny stuff in them, and there's great advice, and it's interesting because of course the way everybody writes a letter is different, and some are very laid out and like bullet pointed, and others are just kind of all over the place depending on the person's personality. But yeah, that kind of stuff. I think I think there's some real value there, and not to, again, I don't want to sound like I'm taking away from what we do at memorials or celebrations of life, because I think that's necessary and it's important. And of course it's for the people who are going through it, and it's part of the processing, and I think it's healthy and good. But I don't know, dude. I think it might be something that at certain points in life, like what Captain
Yeah.
Ness is doing, maybe we need to start implementing that.
Well, I always think about I mean, we created a Fire Up program, which is these men's retreats, and we were actually able to get my dad pops up there before he
Oh
passed
yeah.
away. And I think I cherish some of those moments that we had while we were up there because I was telling him about how important and impactful he was on my life. And he was doing the same and saying how, like, what we created, you and I, and how incredible that was and how proud he was. And I think, I mean, obviously, I think God had his hand on that. But by being able to create and actually spend time and to make time for a weekend where it was not, not a birthday party or not a family event or not when you're torn in 3 other places, there was nothing else to do but to
Mm-hmm.
hang out, you know what I mean, and talk about life. And I think that was super important. I think that's why I value these retreats, like this program that we put on, because it's very intentional. Like you have to like literally remove yourself from work and home and have a conversation with somebody. And that impact is huge. And a lot of times for us it's random people, but if this there have been times where we've had very close friends or family members that have come up, and that to me is the has been the most special because we're having those conversations.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And there's nothing else to do. That's what we're there for.
That's what we're there for, right?
Yeah.
But great point. I think we have to institute that and let get weird and stand up, and everybody stand up at a birthday party at a minimum. But the station thing is pretty fun too. If somebody was leaving or promoting, I think that would be a very cool thing to do too.
We have a few days left in February. Maybe we can figure out a challenge for March where we try to implement this in some way during the month of March.
Ooh, I like it.
All right. Well, we were just talking about the program, so let's just shift this into our weekly pitch for the program.
Let's
Our next
go.
class is coming up in May. We've got so many rad dudes already signed up to come out. This class will be full to capacity. We will eventually, probably soon, actually have to close registration. So
What are the dates if we're thinking about them?
I don't know that off the top of my head, so I'm going to have to look it up. I'm just going to type in here, fireupprogram.org. 15th, 16th, and 17th of May.
Let's go. 15th, 16th, and 17th. That'll be awesome. Yeah, I was looking at we've been like getting a lot of people signing up, a couple guys that are coming back, and I'm pretty pumped on this. So yes, if you haven't been, this is your call to action. Sign up, join us up in the mountain, have some conversations, and I think Nole and I will talk about this forever, but it's just like the relationships more than anything formed at this thing has been the most powerful thing out of the whole thing.
Yep.
It's just so join us at fireupprogram.org. Let's go.
Let's go. Sign up.
All right. Well, till next time, thank you guys. This has been the Fire You Carry podcast.
So here at the Fire You Carry podcast, we're clearly not about high production value or video editing or anything like that. Everything that you see here is being automatically generated by Riverside, the platform that we use to record together remotely. But we appreciate you watching anyway, and we especially appreciate when you give us a like or leave us a comment. It means a lot, and it helps us out. We would like to continue to grow this channel, possibly eventually someday have some actual decent looking video, better sounding audio here, maybe more consistent content, maybe extra content. I don't know. Maybe it'll just stay exactly the same. But we appreciate you watching. We seriously appreciate it if you like. And if you subscribe, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.